everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Christmas design for you. I'm so excited. They're so beautiful. So for this design I will be using gel polish and acrylic, and you will see why in a minute. So first things first, I'm going in here with Naio Nails Rose Glow, and I'm using this as a nail bed colour. I'm going to be doing sort of a diagonal fade, glitter fade kind of thing. You will see what I mean in a minute. So I'm placing that at what would be the cuticle area and just dragging that up, I'd say 3/4 of the nail. And then now I'm going in, before doing any capping or anything, with the Madame Glam's Deep Sea Dream. And I'm applying this to the tip of the nail and sort of going in a little diagonal. Curing that for 30 seconds in my LED lamp and then applying a second layer. Then I'll cure this for 30 seconds again. Once that is cured, I'm going to buff over just to make it matte so that when I cap this in clear, it does stick rather than slide off the gel polish. Here I am taking the Glitter Bells Royalty and I'm applying that where those two colours meet and sort of doing like a little swirly design. Don't know what you'd call it, but it's cute and Christmassy. The brush that I'm using is the Liz Guild brush from CJP. And I'm just patting that into place. Once I'm happy with that, I will move on to the next nail and let this one set before going in and encapsulating it with clear. These nails have been I've had such a good response on social media with these. I was really surprised. So thank you to anyone that has commented and liked the picture of these nails on my Instagram or Facebook. Thank you so much. Here I'm just turning it around just to make sure that I like the shape from both angles, and just using the tip of my brush to sort of push that into place to where I want it to be. So whilst that one's setting, I'm going to move on to the next nail. So here I'm going in with Glitter Bell Snowdrops, and I'm just going to apply a really thin base layer of this to the entire nail. I'm going to be doing a bauble nail on this one. So working really nice and thin because we are going to build up once we have done our little bauble. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Just make sure you work nice and thin with this bit. Once I've applied that, I am going to go back to the previous nail and just cap that in clear. I'm using the Glitter Bells glass slippers for this. And I just want to make sure that I encapsulate that whole nail, making sure that everything is matte. And that way I know that everything is fully capped and nothing's going to come away when I start filing. So for the bauble, I am just taking a bead of Royalty and applying that where I want my bauble to sit. Then I'm going to use the tip of my brush to try and refine that shape a little bit more, making sure it's a nice evenish circle. And I will just keep playing with that until I'm happy with it. Then once I'm happy with the shape, I will go in and add a thicker bead of clear acrylic on top. And again, I will just keep playing with that until I'm happy with the shape. And what I also like to do as well is I'll just tip the nail upside down and just let gravity sort of pull that acrylic down so that it gives us a nice round shape. You will see what I mean in a second. And I just use the sides of my brush and then the belly of my brush to sort of pat the clear acrylic down just so that it's not too thick, because we don't want to work too thick on this because we are going to go in and add some more white. So if you feel like it's not thick enough, then just go ahead and add a little bit more clear. It's not a problem. And here in a minute you will see what I mean about tipping it upside down. And that's just letting gravity do its thing. Then once I'm happy with that, I will let that set before going on to the next step with that nail. This nail is really easy. It's just going to be a full glitter nail. So again, using Royalty. This is a pre-mixed glitter, so it's already got the acrylic mixed into it, which saves you time and product because you don't have to use your own acrylic. You just go straight in with this one. And then I will go ahead, let that set, and again, I will cap that in clear. So I'm just going to go ahead now and just encapsulate this one. Again, making sure that all of that glitter is matte because I don't want any of it coming away when I file it off. So going back to the Bauble nail, I just wanted to refine the shape of the Bauble a little bit more. So I'm just taking a nice sharp file and just sort of working my way around that Bauble so that it is nice and crisp. And now I'm going to go back in with the snowdrops and completely cover this entire nail. Don't panic. You can be as messy as you like with this bit. Once you start filing, you will see that it does become nice and pretty and nice and crisp. So I'm just going to go in, add as much as I want, and then I will let that fully set before doing anything else to it. So I'm just going to let you guys watch this bit. Whilst that one's setting, I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next nail. So here I'm going in with a full nail of Deep Sea Dream from Madame Glam. Such a beautiful colour. I love this colour so much. Just apply my first layer and cure that for 30 seconds. Then once that's cured, I'm going to go ahead and apply a second layer. And again, cure that for another 30 seconds under my LED lamp. If you're using UV, make sure you cure for at least 2 minutes. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do some stamping. But what I didn't realise is my camera had turned off for the actual stamping apart from this bit. Excuse my nail stamper. I brought a new one and I cannot get it to stamp. So that's what I was working with. But I just went in there with some snowflakes. I bought the stamping plate off eBay years ago. Some snowflakes and then just use a dotting tool to do some little dots on it. I do apologise for that not being in. And now I'm going in with my Melody Susie nail drill. And as you can see, once you start filing, that nice little circle bauble starts coming through. Then I will take a hand file and just make sure that that nail is nice and even. Then I will buff over with a buffing block to remove any roughness and any scratches left from the file or the drill. For the bow, I did try and do a freehand painted one, but I am so bad at freehand nail art, so I thought I would stick to doing a little bit of a 3D bow. So again, I'm going in using the Naio Nails Rose Glow, and the brush that I'm using is my new favourite nail art brush, my 3D nail art brush, sorry. And this is the Glitter Arty Nails Heart Filled 3D brush. This is a game changer. Like, I love this brush so much. And I just take a blob of the Rose Glow, apply that to where roundabout I want to have it, and then I don't really know how to explain, stab into it and press that out to create the 3D bow effect. I'm so bad at this. I don't know why I do this, because I can't explain things. Luckily you can see it. Yeah, so I'll just keep fanning that out and pressing that out until I am happy with how that looks. Then for what would be the ribbon, again taking that acrylic, this time a little bit wetter, and just sort of dragging that down to where, round about where I want the ribbon to sit. And then using my brush, I'm going to press into the acrylic in opposite directions. And this is going to give you that sort of ribbon fold effect, if that makes sense. I think it makes sense. We're going to pretend it makes sense anyway. So I'm going to do that on both sides. I'm going to take one a little bit longer than the other. It's so cute. I really tried really hard doing the freehand, but I just can't do it. I think I need to take like a class in freehand nail art, because I just can't do it. So again, just pushing in different directions on this nail. Then once I'm happy with that, I will let that set, and then I did go ahead and apply a little crystal in the middle of that bow. So here I just applied a little crystal in the middle, just using some nail glue. And then I'm also going to apply crystals in the centre of each of the snowflakes. Again, I'm just using some nail glue. I can't remember what these crystals are called. They are the, this one is one of the Swarovski gold coloured ones, but I can't remember what they're called. I will try and find out for you. They're really, really cute. So yeah, I'm just going to apply those in the centre of each of those snowflakes. For anyone that's going to do this design or do the bauble nail, I made a bit of a mistake. Usually I would go ahead and top coat that nail before going in with any of the 3D work, because now I had the pain and the trouble of trying to top coat around that bow and ribbon, which is a pain in the arse. But yeah, it worked out all right in the end. So just going in with some top coat, I am using I'm pretty sure it's the Nail Lounge collection no wipe top coat. I will double check, but I'm pretty sure that's what I used. And just look at all that shininess come through. Oh. So yeah, if you're going to do this design, just make sure that you do top coat before you start with your 3D bow. Because it was just a nightmare trying to top coat around it. In the end, I got a smaller brush just to sort of get in and around what I needed to do. But anyway, once I'd top coated, I then cured that for 1 minute. And that is it, really. That is the finished look. I didn't do a 5th finger because I just didn't. I don't know why. I actually don't know why I didn't do a 5th nail. But at least we've got 4. No one really cares about thumbnails much. I don't. I wish we didn't have thumbs, to be quite honest. But yeah, I really hope you like this design. I'll leave everything that I've used in the description box below with the discount codes. If you're going to buy from Madam Glam, if you do it now between the 19th of November and the 21st, you can get 50% off their products using discount code JodieBF. Is a minimum of 3 products, but it's worth it. And Glitterati Nails, you can get 5% off using discount code Jodie, but I'll leave everything in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye!